Okay, so there comes a point in every person's journey where they start off down here, right, with their squiggly little arms, and they realize that they want to be a new person. They want to get to point B. And with point B comes a new person that you hope to be, with a new state of mind that you hope to achieve, perhaps happiness. Perhaps you're thinking, if I get a girlfriend, then I will be happy. If I start making this amount of money, then I will be happy. If I do X, then I will achieve Y. Maybe my arm will stop being so squiggly. This right here, this is the path of desire. And desire is a contract you make with yourself to be unhappy until you actually get what you want. Every single experience of your life has brought you to the point where you are right now. You trying to get to this point, it might feel like things start to work. It works pretty well, and then things start to get worse, and then they start to get worse, and they might even get worse than how it started, and then they start to go up again, and then it ends up being this kind of cycle that just keeps going. This is the clash between years of programming, years of learning in your own brain, simulating your own reality, figuring out how things work for yourself, versus the reality that you want to actualize. In this case, once you've realized what you actually want to become, who you want to be, and what kind of material things you want to have, or even relationships or physical things like the body of your dreams, here and here, they're totally different people, and it's scary because you are new. This is a new desire, a new belief that you want to adopt that goes against all the years of programming that society has given you and that you have given yourself on how to respond to the world and rationalize your experience. You're new. You're basically a baby. You don't know how to get to this point, and how would you know? Because if this is a new desire and you keep oscillating in between having it or getting close to achieving it and then getting down, maybe you think you're doing so good at one point and then you start to do bad at another point. You just keep going up and down. The problem is, and I used to go through these kinds of things a lot, where you get to this point right here and it feels like you're in there for a very long time. It can be a couple days, it can be weeks, it can be months at a time. I remember the longest time for me was about 8 months when I really discovered self-improvement, and I really, fixed all this stuff around me for myself. Until I got to this point, I ended up going over here, and then what ended up happening is that I did the thing that I'm about to tell you not to do, the thing that you're definitely doing if you clicked on this video, that causes you to go down, and maybe you start going down a little bit, but instead of slowly going down a little bit and then going up and up and up and up and up, and slowly, you go down, you have your ups and downs, I did something that you are doing that makes you go down, and it makes you go lower and lower and lower until you stop doing it. What you need to know first is that this is called the law of rhythm. With sunrise comes sunset, with darkness comes light, and the beautiful thing about it is that there has to be one for the other to exist. There cannot be light if there is no darkness. There cannot be darkness if there is no light. There needs to be the essential quality of comparison. You need to be at this stage before you can actually appreciate this stage. If you have fallen down, then that is because you have risen before. So it's essential to approach this type of thing, this oscillation, with gratitude, because gratitude leads to abundance, and we'll get more on that in like 10-20 seconds. When you're at this point right here, the thing that doesn't get you starting to go up again is the fact that you believe you are failing, and you have this need, you have a lack of abundance. And the more you need something, the more you are likely to fuck it up. If you're recording a YouTube video and you're afraid of how you're speaking, then you're going to stumble on your words so much more, and you're not going to be present in the moment. If you need a woman, then women will kind of be repelled by you. So let's just define this real quick. Abundance is freedom of need. If this is you, and this is what you want here, the more you need this, the more you remind yourself that you are not close to having it. The more you need this, the more you think that this is actually farther away than it needs to be. Because need is actually importance. And the more important you think that the journey is to get there, the harder you think it's going to be to actually get there. And so the more need you have for something, the more importance you place on it, the more you think you're going to mess up things throughout the way. And then the worst part about it is that you start to see yourself mess up, because failure is imminent. Failure happens, and that is important, because without the failure, how will you learn? How will you actually get to the places that you want to get to? But the problem is, when you start to fail and you have this need, this kind of fear of actually making the mistake and not being able to get back from it, thinking that one mistake will mean all over, a lack of abundance, then you will look at the failure, then you will start to focus on failure. And what's important to note is that the seeds you water grow the most. If I watered this seed right here in the middle, it'll grow. And what's more is it'll even get, weird ass flower, it'll even get roots Now, what are these roots? These are your beliefs, these are your skills, these are your habits. But think about if you water the wrong seed, if you water the wrong plant, if you water the plant not of abundance, but more of fear of failure, more of scarcity. When you get so tied up in your failure, you end up making more failures because you lose the confidence, the abundance that you have to actually learn from your mistakes and build off of something that could have been bad, because you get to choose if it is a burial or a planting. In application of my own life, I can think of times where I had the most abundance, where I was just happy and I did not need anything. And those are the times where I actually had made the most progress. Now, there's ways where you can turn anger and sadness into like some kind of aggression for you to take the things that you want and grow from a place like that. The truth is that the real happiness, the real progress, the things that are actually sustainable come from a lack of need and a sense of abundance. Another example is a lot of guys in the modern time are actually really lonely, and it's really sad to see, because what they don't realize is that they need to work on themselves, and then in working on themselves they get more attention from girls, and then suddenly they have abundance and they're able to just kind of be themselves and wait for their special one to come. When I started high school, I practiced my social skills, and it came from a place of insecurity, a place of, oh man, I'll never be loved, because I didn't feel very lovable. That's kind of a close thing to share, but I like you. It's because you're watching from here and you're kind of applying this in your own self. Remember to take notes. I didn't end up finding anybody that was compatible with me until grade 11, when I kind of let go of all of that. I knew that I could be popular if I wanted to be, and I didn't really care. That was never really the goal. But I remember I would just meditate, like literally just meditate behind my school, just by the pond, and then that's when a girl started joining me, and then that girl actually liked me for me, and that's what I actually wanted the whole time. And once I really let go of it, and I was just had this abundance, no need for it, it came to me because I was a match for the reality that it takes to become the person. I had already became this thing. First, you need to be before you can do, pretty much. So water the seeds that when you do start to fail, you think, wow, that's great. Now I can learn from the failure and keep going. It's like when I met my girl's parents, something that keeps happening is that I keep making little mistakes. Like, I think one of the biggest last ones that I made was that I accidentally melted their kettle because it was an electric one. Oh my god, you can't imagine how bad I felt when I melted that thing over here. I thought it was just the kind that you put on the stove, and it wasn't. It like, bro, it literally melted, and then the plastic fumes went everywhere. I created a biohazard, bro. And with those kinds of things, that was a mistake. And I remember thinking, man, I cannot keep like doing these kind of like failures. I cannot keep doing these things. And look at me like thinking about trying to not stumble on my words. The next time I met around their family, we went to the gym, and then I was just kind of like thinking in my head, okay, don't do something stupid. And then I ended up breaking my girl's brother's glasses. Actually, apparently they were able to fix it, so that was nice. But it's a big thing that I'm starting to learn. The seeds you water grow the most. So instead of thinking, oh man, I'm the kind of guy who fails at these things, I'm the kind of guy who, despite all efforts, is not able to actually get these things done. No, because with this point right here, you are limiting yourself by watering the wrong seeds. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to fail, because this new desire, this is a new desire. Think of all the years you've lived, and suddenly this is a new thing. Really think about how long you have wanted this thing. The money, the girl that's right for you, the body. Your action step is simple. Instead of focusing on the mistakes that you're making, focus on every single one of the wins that you're getting. Because when you focus on the wins, you start to make evidence for the person that you want to become, and you stop making evidence for the person that you don't want to become. And the reason why it's so difficult to change and to become this person is because the person that you are now wants to live. And in order to get to the place that you want to get to, you need to be comfortable with letting go of this person who has gotten you to the place that you wanted to get to. Because to get to level 2 is different than getting to level 1. Goodbye.